Hey guys! Good morning, actually, and finally I'm wearing something that is remotely professional looking just because I'm shooting another video later after I finish this session. So I felt like I had to look slightly more presentable than usual. So today I am, today it's Tuesday, so it's day 8 of the Artist reStarter challenge, and today I'm drawing 1 anatomy study of the torso and 5 body structures from reference. So basically I'm doing a little bit of gesture drawing, very quick, and then I'm going to be working more on the anatomy of the torso. Still haven't decided if I'm going to go all realistic or try and stylize the torso a bit more and find a nice stylization that still respects the sort of core anatomy, muscles and shape and everything else that goes with the torso. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I hope that you guys are happy to go, and let's go. So today I'm actually changing my reference tool where I find basically my reference pictures. I'm going to show you guys another one that I usually use. It's called lineofaction.com, and it's pretty much the same as Sketch Daily, the website that I showed you in all the other streams. Basically on this one it's different. Of course the interface is slightly different, but overall it's pretty much the same. So we have a choice between having all models, nude models and covered models, and then if you want to choose between female or male, or female red models and male red models, I'm gonna go with both. Ages, I think I'm gonna go with adults just because I don't want to muddle the waters too much. And what kind of session? All the same length. The difference between all the same length and class mode is that in class mode you get different length for each pose, and that's pretty much what happens if you go to a gesture drawing class. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's quite fun, so I recommend you do if you want to, if you can find one in your hometown, or actually now because of COVID there's actually quite a few gesture drawing classes that you can get online for free, or just kind of like pay as you want, or pay as you can. And what happens is that usually there would be sort of like a gesture drawing teacher, and they will kind of like lead the class a little bit. So the model will usually start with quite a few short poses, and then they will kind of like pose for a bit longer, like even 5 minutes or 10 minutes depending on what's the level of render and realism that you guys want to achieve. So I'm gonna go with all the same length, and I'm gonna go with 60-second interval, which is still quite short but slightly longer so that I can manage to put some more detail into my pose. So I'm gonna start with the 5 gesture poses, and then I'm gonna move on to the torso anatomy study. Let's go. Okay, so here I have my favorite color for sketching, which is hot pink, and I'm also using my favorite brush for sketching, just putting some more smoothing on it. There you go. And maybe making the line slightly bigger. Okay. I found a pretty funny reference. There's this lady, and she's wearing like a bunny suit, but not like a sexy one, more like a just like a really fluffy bunny suit, and she's like holding some sort of Japanese weapon, like one of those weapons that has got like 2 sticks and and then a chain in the middle. I don't know what that called. Is it a nunchuck? She looks a little bit like she's squatting. And I can see that someone is writing on the chat, but I'm having trouble drawing fast and watching the chat, so I'm gonna reply in a second. Now there's another lady. She's got a very graceful, pose. I can read kind of like the messages that have been sent, and I'm like, yeah, amazing. I can't do everything at once. Even though, for some reason, like, doesn't it feel like we kind of live in a society where we're kind of expected to be able to do that, even though it sounds ridiculous? I know that's kind of like one of those sentences like, oh, but like, isn't it weird how society does this and that? But it's true though, isn't it? Like, it does feel like we have to be able to do everything at once all the time. Now there's a lady who's stretching. She's having a nice, good stretch. I feel like I should do more stretching. I've been doing quite a lot of exercise lately. Because I just started doing kickboxing, and I keep doing my rowing as well. So it feels like I'm exercising a lot, but I'm not stretching as much. So I should probably do that more, or I'm gonna end up like being blocked and not being able to move at all, I think. Now there's a guy. He's holding something like a coat rack, which looks a bit funny, but I guess they were just trying to make him hold something for the purpose of props, you know. Okay, this one is actually quite funny. There's a guy, and he's got one. He's trying to wear jeans. Presumably, he's like to put some pants on, but like he's just got one side of the pants like on his leg, but he's not trying to put them on. Like he's just kind of like looking at them. It's quite funny. You should see it. And okay, final. This one is a lady. She's nude, so I don't know how like Twitch is in terms of the nude policy. I'm assuming it's not as bad as Instagram, just because Instagram is like the worst. But I don't know. So I thought I would keep the reference pictures on a different screen, mostly so that I don't end up being blocked or, I don't know, ostracized if I'm showing TTs, you know, to people who don't want to watch them and see them, even though they're nice, you know, titties are nice. But, yeah. So, to err on the side of caution, I've decided it's better if I keep my reference pictures on one side of the screen. Oh wow, great, that's funny, that's great. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my neighbor has just put on this like really old-fashioned, old-timey music that he just loves to put on at a volume that doesn't make any sense because I can hear it, and it's not even my neighbor like in the same building, it's literally like on the opposite side of the street. So I don't know how loud it must be in his house. I'm assuming he's a guy, I don't know why, but I have this feeling that he's a guy. Anyway, yes, it is the music. It's so annoying. Okay, so hi. Yeah, I finally finished my 5 poses. So hi Mano, and hi Lucia, and hi Cassie. And yeah, it is the music, as I was saying. And oh, no nipples, male or female, on Twitch. Well, I guess it's more equal if neither of them are being showed, so I could get on board with that. Like, I mean, I don't think that sexualizing naked bodies is necessarily a good thing. Actually, I think it's a bad thing, because bodies are just bodies. You know, if we just stop sexualizing them, maybe a few things about our society would actually improve. But at least if it's not just, just female bodies, for some reason they're being censored. So yay for either all the nipples or none of the nipples, basically. But yes, it is the music, and I did figure it out, I think, because this is gonna sound like I'm crazy, like obsessed, but you guys have no idea how actually loud this music is. Like, I bought some new headphones because these ones have noise cancelling. That was how loud it was. It was so distracting. And so when it came on again 2 days ago in the morning, I literally started going up and down the staircase, like the inside staircase of my building. It's 9 floors as well, so it's not like, you know, it's quite a lot of stairs. And I just started listening to all the doors to make sure that it wasn't in my building, because we had a bet on. My partner said that he thought it was the guy above us that was playing the music. Instead, I just thought it was someone across the street, because it just looks as though it's coming this way. Like, here's my window, and it felt like it was coming that way, and I was right, as it usually happens, because I went, you know, up and down, put my ear literally to people's doors, and I'm not crazy, but I did that, and I realized that it wasn't them. So it must be someone, I think it's either someone like right across, or like 1 floor below, or like above or below my level. I'm on the 7th floor, so someone on their 8th floor or 7th floor or 6th floor, I think. But yeah, I was actually tempted to even call the police, and I'm like, I've never called the police in my life, so yeah, that's how loud it was. It's as if someone is playing a concert in the street, but with a really bad sound system. Mano, they actually don't think they have a killer audio system. I think it's just very loud, but you can feel, like, you can hear all the crackling noises of a sound system that is being abused, you know? Like, that sound system should not be able to, or you should not play music that loud on the sound system that they have, I don't think. But yeah, so there we go. I have my 5 quick poses. They could definitely be improved, but I did dedicate, you know, quite a short time to them, so I'm happy with how they came out. And I'm going to move on to, I'm just gonna change the name here, not expressions, but figure drawing. There you go. And I'm going to move on to the second part, new folder, day 8. And this one I'm gonna call it practice day 8. So I'm going to move on to the second part of this exercise, which is to do a anatomical study of a torso. Can you guess? I mean, I have been putting this off by chatting because I'm actually scared. And yeah, I don't like anatomy. I don't like it almost as much as I don't like perspective, which I don't like perspective at all. So yeah. So I'm gonna go on Pinterest real quick and look up some torsos. My headphones, thank you for saying they're nice. They're not actually, they're from a knockoff company that I think is called Soundcore. I mean, I'm saying knockoff, poor guys, you know. They're actually quite good. I'm like, whenever I have to buy something, like anything really, even like water filters, I just go online and Google reviews of, you know, best water filters of 2021, well, 2022 now. So yeah, the other day when I was having a mental breakdown because of the music, I was like, I need to get noise cancelling headphones. So I googled best noise cancelling headphones, and I found out that there were like a million really expensive ones, like the Sony and, you know, all that kind of like high-end sort of stuff. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't afford to spend $300 or euros or whatever on a pair of headphones. So I was like, best budget noise cancelling headphones. And I read quite extensively that a lot of people were saying how this brand, Soundcore, is like, of course it's not as good as you would find, you know, Sony headphones or whatever, but for the money you're spending, it's probably like the best quality, so, you know, kind of like best value. So I got them. And actually, to be fair, if I put the noise cancelling mode on, I can hardly hear my voice. It feels like you're kind of like underwater, which is a really odd but nice feeling because I love being underwater. So yeah, it's a good buy. And also they're pink, so I mean, what's not to love? Okay, so torso reference. Not okay. So if you look for torso references on Pinterest, you're just gonna find other people's drawings of torsos, and that is not what that is not what you should look for. Like, it's okay to trace it's okay to trace references sometimes if you feel like you need to, but I wouldn't trace another person's drawing. That is bad, and that is like morally questionable, and also not really useful because you're gonna end up kind of repeating the same mistakes of other people, and also all the good things that you get in your drawing are not gonna be because you understood what was going on with the reference. You just copied another person's understanding. So yeah, I would not recommend tracing other people's drawings, but it's okay if you want to trace straight from the photo reference, as long as you do it for a short amount of time and try to really understand what's going on, and then you can move to not tracing anymore. And yeah, Mano, I think Soundcore is from Anchor. Yeah, me too. I researched way too much before buying anything. Yeah, it's an issue of mine. Okay, so now I'm just looking at pictures of guys with their shirt off, basically, which is interesting. I have a thing for shoulders, that's for sure. Okay, so I think this picture is actually quite good. And maybe these ones as well. There's a lot of wind today in my town. Okay, so now for the torso study. I mean, I don't know if I want to do like a proper anatomical study. I might just try and do a cartoony study of this torso. So let's see. Can you guys actually hear the music from like the other side of the street? Because when I'm very quiet, I can sort of hear it. So I hope that you guys can't pick it up. It's so annoying. Okay, so when you do gesture drawing, you're usually more concerned with capturing the gesture than actually drawing, 100% realistic image of the reference. But when you do a study like this, that is either realistically or anatomically realistic, or a stylization but still kind of like more accurate and more detailed, you can use a thing called blocking to actually make sure that you're getting the right proportions. So blocking basically means that you look at the original picture, like here for example, and you start trying to simplify this reference into blocks, So here's a block here, here's a block here, block, block, and you can use blocks or like basically just more simple, more abstract shapes really. This guy has got very good vascularization, like you can really see his veins over here. So basically, when you've got all your different blocks, you're able to kind of redo the same thing in your actual drawing, in your sketch. And I mean, you can do this by overlapping it with the reference, as I was doing here, or you can do it by just looking and by eye do this kind of like block thing. But it's okay if at the start you want to do the blocks directly on the reference. It can give you like a really good idea of how, whether you're keeping with the actual reference or you're kind of like going off on a tangent. Because usually the reason why we can't draw from reference is that because we, and for we I mean I, I usually imagine more than look, like if you actually look at your reference, you'll see what you have to draw. But when you start looking and when you stop looking and you start just kind of like going with what you think is in the reference, that's when you start going off the grid basically. So yeah, observation is definitely one of those things that it's difficult to master because it's so intangible. It's not like, oh, if you do 1 million strokes then you'll have a good hand. And then with observation is just something that you need to keep kind of practicing every day. So for example here I'm definitely going way off the bat because Another thing that you can do to make sure that you're respecting the same proportions as your original drawing is that you can do a negative space check. So negative space is basically what happens here. There's some space, and here instead there's some space here, but there's no space between the arm and the torso, and instead here I have some space, so definitely not the right sort of thing going on. I mean, here there's a space and that's good, but here there should be only some space here, which means that this arm is definitely way too distant from the body, so I can use the lasso tool to put it over here. Also, I think that, you know, this, another good thing is like trying this weight plum method, and you can kinda see where the, if you connect the head down to the ground, you can kind of see where the weight of the body is going. Mine is actually quite good in terms of the landmarks that I'm trying to check. I would have thought that it was much worse, actually. And yes, Cassie, I feel like anytime I take more than a week or two off from drawing, I have to start again completely because my hands and eyes have forgotten everything. That is true. You can definitely see here that I haven't been practicing my anatomy for quite a while. And one thing that you want to check as well is that one thing that people usually do when they start out is that when they draw muscles on an arm, and I know I'm not doing arms today, I'm doing just the torso, but I'm really just doing like the upper body parts basically, is that you tend to do the arms like this, you know, like kind of like sausages, and that is, yeah, that is odd. That is not what should happen, because that's not what an arm looks like. If you look at the reference here, it's like, maybe in yellow, you can see that it's almost like alternating. So if there's a bump over here, the bump will be over here. So it's like slanted. It doesn't go like this. It's more like this. So one part of the muscle is contracted and the other part is relaxed. So here we've got the tricep that is very, here it's very pumped. And so on this side it goes like this, like in a slanted sort of way, basically. Same thing here, we've got the tricep. This guy has got a lot of muscle. Okay, so this is my sketch. this needs to be slightly bigger, this arm. Okay, feels more balanced now. I'm going to put this stuff over here. Okay. And I mean, what I could do now is either to do a slightly better rendered version of this, or try and do a more cartoony version of it. I think I'm gonna go with the more cartoony version. So I'm going to make this slightly smaller. And create a new layer. And have a sip of my coffee. Cool. So for a more cartoony version, I could go with a, I can basically push the shape a little more and change, you know, the proportion of this guy. And make the strokes a little bit more, a little more decisive, basically, like less realistic, less soft, a little bit harder, you know. So, you know, make the shapes a little more abstract, I guess. That's what I mean. Like you can simplify and stylize more, basically. That's what I mean. So in this case, I could definitely make the arms, you know, look like this, like more round. And then I can make the waist a lot smaller. It really depends what's the character that I'm trying to draw. In this case, I'm just going for aesthetically pleasing, basically. It's gonna have a very small head. And big ears. This time the arm might be too big. What are you guys drawing in the meantime? Are you also following the day 8? Ah, Cass is playing a game, still debating whether I should be drawing instead right now. I think you should be relaxing. I mean, it's evening your way, isn't it? So I think you should definitely be enjoying your time off and just playing. What are you playing, by the way? Lukia Artwork says day 5 today. Well done. Day 5. You're still on the portrait drawing then. How are you finding it? Elder Scrolls Online. I did, by the way, of course you didn't need my permission, Cass, but I just thought, you know, whenever I'm playing a game, I always feel guilty because I think, you know, like, this is time I should be spending drawing, especially because when you play a game, especially if the art is good, I always think, oh, these artists that made this game are so good, why can't I be so good? Like, I need to be drawing more so that I can become better. So it's kind of like a cycle of feeding my own insecurities and feeling really bad about myself. So I just thought I'd tell you, you know, you deserve to have some time off, you know? And I did start playing, okay. Yeah, I think it's hard to get the permission for ourselves to feel like we can just enjoy our time and, you know, relax. But also, I started playing Elder Scrolls Online and I realized that it would eat up my life because I am unable to have an healthy relationship with games. So I just don't play them unless I've got, you know, a period of time where I'm basically just off work and I'm not really doing any big projects, so I feel like I'm more relaxed. Yeah, when I read Always Problems with Children, I was like, oh, like maybe they're a parent and they're having trouble with their children, and then I realized, oh no, like we're drawing portraits of children, obviously. Yeah, I'm a dummy. But yeah, drew some gesture sketches traditionally, now doing the anatomical study on Photoshop. Forgot to post yesterday's sketches. Yes, Mano, please post your sketches. Also, I'm sure that your anatomical study of the torso is going to be so much better than mine, Mano, because you are so much more accurate than me when it comes to drawing anatomy. Yeah, I realize I understand the not being in control of one's life because of a game. I've been playing Genshin Impact and I've basically just eaten up my life. Yeah, I get addicted so fast and then I tend to not be able to do anything else. I don't understand why it's not working. Like I try and draw a line, but it doesn't work. I might have to... I don't understand what's the issue. Oh, there you go. It was just very small. Okay, so I'm moving on to the Shiyun medium brush for the line art. Okay. So when I do the line art for this sort of thing, I try and make it even more stylized. So let's see if I can manage. And like the way that you can do that is by exaggerating and exasperating even more. And like try and follow the line of the gesture, but with the elements of the body. Like for example here the hair, because the face is kind of like looking down, and you can exaggerate that even more by making kind of like a sweeping gesture for, you know, the hair and the fringe basically. Guy has got really long eyelashes. Like, I hate it when guys have such long eyelashes. Like my brother has ridiculously long eyelashes, much longer than mine, and he doesn't use them for anything. So I think it might be because he's never actually worn mascara, so I guess he hasn't kind of like ruined his eyelashes. Actually, that's not true that he has never worn mascara, because my brother used to be in a kind of like glam metal band, so they did wear makeup on stage. But yeah, he's still got ridiculously long eyelashes. It's been a while since I focused on observational drawing. It was so exhausting last year at Norman because we had to do figures on sketchbook. Yeah, but I think, Mano, that you have such a nice hand, like very delicate, very precise. So yeah, well done. I am very proud that you're on my Discord and Patreon. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, my eyelashes are okay, but I think that because I tend to wear mascara, they do, like, if there's a period of time where I'm not wearing mascara and like I'm not wearing any makeup, and like, you know, COVID, definitely I noticed that my eyelashes also recuperated, and we're just looking a lot more healthy basically. So I just threw like a little speedo on this guy. There you go. He's definitely got a little bit of an upper body problem. Like, he should probably do a leg day once in a while. But there you go. That's my stylized version of his torso. Well, I guess it's his back more than his torso, but yeah. There you go. Yeah, you should stop skipping leg day. Yeah. But I'm quite happy with the stylization for this. And yeah, this wasn't too bad, actually. I mean, it was really scary. But, I don't know. If you push through, even the scary things are not as scary, I think. And well done for turning on your tablet and opening Photoshop, Cassie, but you shouldn't feel like you have to, you know, like you're entitled to taking a night off as well. And thank you, Mano. That is nice of you to say, that it reminds you from DC and Marvel. Yeah, I feel like I was channeling a little bit of Captain America there, like the what's his name? Chris Evans version. Chris Evans has got like that sort of tiny but huge shoulders and arms sort of physique. Which is different from like a guy like Chris Hemsworth, like he's more like all kind of like big, but instead Chris Evans is like, he's got like a tiny little butt, I think. And yeah, like the Dorito sort of shape. Or like I say, also the carrot shape. So yeah. Like a very short carrot eye. Cool. So guys, it's almost 11 my end, so I'm going to have to actually start working for real, as I've got quite a few things to do today. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I shall see you all tomorrow for what's tomorrow? There you go. Tomorrow it's day 9, 1 anatomy study of the arm and 3 static poses. So tomorrow it's just arm and 3 static poses. But with more detail, basically, not just the body structures. Cool. So I shall see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a good rest of the day or night, depending on where you live. And thanks again for hanging out. Bye guys.